if you're single and you're not happy, you're not going to be happy in a relationship. Happiness comes from day drinking, not a relationship. Welcome to Shave&Butcher, where you get wisdom as well as shaving. So, wisdom part down, on to shaving. Today, no shaving, but I'll talk about shaving. I'll be comparing these two babies today. This is the leaf razor, and this is the Shavent razor. I think that's how you pronounce it. So these two are pretty similar. Leaf razor came out a few years ago, and it was unique in that it works like a cartridge razor. It has 3 blades. It has a pivoting head, but there's no cartridge in it. Instead, you put in 3 half D blades. So it's cheaper in use than a cartridge, and if you live somewhere sensible, you can recycle your shaving blades, razor blades, unlike cartridge, which has plastic molded. You know the drill. And that was pretty cool, and it still is. And I use this almost every day to shave my head. The face, I use other things. It's not ideal for a face shave. It works, and I have videos that show it sort of works. Biggest problem with this one is that for some reason the distance from the top blade to the top of the razor is pretty long. So when you put it under your nose, you can't really get all the way up there. Same thing with this one, although this is a little bit better. So anyway, this is brilliant. A lot of people use it, mainly for head shaving in the shaving community. But what I don't know is how many people outside the shaving nerdiness that I'm in use this. I think it's pretty common. I think a lot of women use it because it would be good for that. And men as well, for shaving different parts of the body than head and face. Legs, armpits, you can use this for pretty much anything you would otherwise use a cartridge razor for. And then, not too long ago, last year I think, a few months ago, this came along. The first one is made in North America somewhere. This one is designed in Italy and it's manufactured in Germany. It's called the Shavent. A lot of people who have seen this say, it's a copy of the leaf. Well, it isn't really. It's very much inspired by the leaf. It has 3 half DE blades as well, or it can take up to 3. You can put in as many as you want to, but no more than 3. It has a pivoting head, but where this pivots, this has, I'm going into technical language, which I don't master, but this pivots through 2 thingies, springs, I guess. On the side, this one has a spring in the middle. Otherwise, very similar in use. They're equally large, and the cutting area is obviously the length of a half a D blade. The length of the razors is almost identical, and I thought they weighed about the same, so some of you sick nerds would want to know exactly what they weigh, so I weighed them just now. This one is 84 grams, this one is 84 grams with 3 half blades loaded into them. So very similar. They look a bit different. I don't know which one you prefer. It's a matter of preference. In terms of how you use them, they are a bit different. This one has 1 screw, so you loosen the screw. You don't take it out all the way, you just loosen it. I don't know if you can see that. And then when it's loose, you open up a lid. Try not to cut myself. And there's a half D blade. Hang on, come on, baby. So there you go. That's just a D blade snapped in half, which a normal shaving D blade, snap it in half inside the package so you don't cut yourself. Take it out and put it in. Then comes a sort of a grid thingy that separates, that separates blade number 2 from blade number 1. So it looks like that. That's attached to the razor. Blade number 2, and same thing, blade number 3. And these things work really well. This is a bit awkward now because I'm facing the camera, but and I haven't cleaned this properly. You put them in, there are 2 stoppers, so it's very hard to put them in the wrong place. I'm sure you can. And there are magnets, so they stick into place. You just make sure it's at the bottom. You put the protective thing on, put in the next one, put in the grid thing, put the top 3rd one, which you don't need, by the way. 2 bottom ones are enough. Put this one and tighten. And really, this doesn't take very long. It's not complicated to do. And you can see the distance between the blades, if put in properly, is quite long. It's longer than a D blade, and compared to the Shavent, it's quite a difference. Can you see that? The Shavent blades are quite tight together. This one, similar idea, but different in technology, and not as good in my opinion. This one has 2 screws, which might be good in the end. We'll see. So you untighten them. You don't take them off, you just untighten them until you can take this top lid off. So it has 2 pieces, 2 parts, and I don't see any advantage in that. Then you've got the half D blade, and in between the half D blades, instead of the fixed grid thing that you pull down or up, you've got a separator, a separator thingy, which is thick as a razor blade, a bit flimsy, and you really, same thing, blade number 2, separator thing, and you put in this little baby, which works okay, but it's a bit more fiddly. These will break, I'm sure, so I got spare ones just in case. I guess you can make your own, but you want to keep them tight. So that's a difference, and that's one inconvenience. And then same drill, 3 blades. And then you've got to, then you drop the damn thing. You've got to put this thing on again. And voila, make sure everything is in place, and you tighten the screws. So not overly complicated, but it takes a bit longer and you can go wrong. This thing I've shaved with over 300 times, so I know it. I can load new blades very quickly. I also know you can basically not get it wrong putting the blades in. You can't get this wrong. I discovered that yesterday because I started recording this yesterday and was going to do a side-by-side shave, and that didn't go very well. I don't know if you can see that, but this was crooked a little bit because I'm an idiot, obviously, but it's not idiot proof. That's my point. So they sat a bit crookedly, and then I just butchered my head basically. Won't happen very often, and you only do that once and then you pay attention. I'm just saying it could happen. So a little more fiddly. This comes with a lifetime guarantee if it's broken. I don't know exactly what that means, and obviously if the company is not there in 3 years when it breaks, it's not going to help you. But officially it's a lifetime guarantee. This one doesn't, at least officially. Instead, you're encouraged to buy a pack of spare parts. So on the at first glance lifetime guarantee, better buy spare parts in case, there's a difference. But in terms of ease of use, pretty similar. Little more fiddly, takes a bit more time, not a deal breaker at all. Price. This one is from their website. I haven't seen it sold anywhere else, but I haven't looked very carefully. This is 108 euros, which is basically 125 US dollars. That's with a stand. Goes the other way, and you need a stand anyway. You really do, and this works well. Looks pretty good. Looks good on the shelf. So there is a stand for the leaf razor as well. You don't have to buy it, but if you do, and you really should, and this one is great. It's heavy and it also looks good, so they're pretty equal. Those two together is $108. So 125 US versus 108 US. So both atrociously expensive, but quite similar. This one is a little bit cheaper, but if you live in the European Union, the Shavent's going to be cheaper because you don't have to pay customs and sales tax twice or thrice or whatever. If you live in North America, this will be cheaper. But both are pricey, and you know, they are. But if you shave regularly with a cartridge razor, a fancy one, you will get the money back reasonably quickly. Something between a year and a year and a half, you get the money back by buying whatever DE blades you have. But I did receive, on the video when I introduced the Shavent, I did receive one comment from one of my favorite viewers, Taliga1. I love that guy. He says, commenting on the Shavent, I went to a dollar store, can get 10 Persona USA. Oh, okay. Shit. Battery died. He said, can get 10 Persona USA blades for $1. If you put those maths to the maths of the Shavent or the leaf, you know, it's like 23 years, I think he said, to get break even, which is interesting. So depends on what you use, but if you use Gillette style, Fusion, Pro Glove, whatever you have, or even a Mac 3, you get the money back pretty quickly if you use them on a regular basis. So economy, you know, it's up to you. The quality in these we've talked about. Very hard to say. They both feel good. This one is silent when you flick it. This makes a bit of a racket. Is that a quality thing? I don't think so. I don't know. In terms of shaving, apart from when you get it wrong, which again, I've never gotten it wrong with this one. You can with this, but only if you don't pay attention. In terms of performance, they're not the same, but for me, who don't have an advanced shaving routine on my head, I shave with one pass, essentially with the grain. They do a job which is very, very similar to each other and very similar to the Mac 3 cartridge razor that I used to have on the head and still do when I travel. So what this is a cartridge replacement type razor, and this one too. That's it. You shave more quickly than a DE on the head, a DE safety razor, but it doesn't give you any more pleasure in shaving or any more closeness or anything, in my opinion, than you get from a straight razor or a Shavent or a DE. These are cartridge killers, basically. And they're, you know, nicer to use than a cartridge. You get the money back in time, and it's ecologically friendly if you can recycle the blades. If you can't, not really. But shaving comfort, very similar. Now, you can have 1, 2, or 3 blades in either of these. And this one I've tried everything. I'm in the process of trying different combinations out with this one. In the leaf razor, instead of having 3 half DE blades, just put in the bottom 2. The third one, in my opinion, does nothing. It's pretty much decorative. So if you only put in the top blade, you basically get no shave. So you can save a bit by just using 2 halves. This one is different because it shaves more similarly to a cartridge in that the blades are closer together, like a cartridge. But I've got friends who take out the middle blade, so they have the two separator thingies between the top and the bottom blade, and that's a different shave as opposed to the leaf, where it feels about the same. If you take out the top one, this feels differently, and this feels more like the leaf when you have the top and the bottom only. So I think in time, you gotta try things for a while, right? I think quite possibly when I use this, and I will use it, I'll use two blades, two separator thingies in between, so I get more space in there as well. But even if you have three blades in this one, and they're tighter together than in the leaf, it doesn't clog. Nothing like a cart. And I don't know why, but it's designed that way somehow. You rinse it very briefly, no clogging. With 1 day of growth, 2 days of growth, 3 days of growth. I haven't done more than that. So easy to clean, and you don't have to take the head off when you clean. No point in doing that. I haven't been doing that with the leaf. You just rinse it, and you can wipe it if you want to. And every once in a while you take a toothbrush and a bit of dishwasher liquid, I think is safe. I use it anyway. That has a slight bit of a sanding effect over time, but I think that's fine. So what else? Looking at my note, yeah, I think we've covered most things. I really think we have. Again, if you're a nerdy like me, a nerdy traditionalist wet shaver who's used to D's and that sort of thing, and want to go back to wet shaving like your grandpa, etc. No, this is not necessarily anything for you, because it is a multi-blade razor, all multi-blade razors. But if you're shaving your body somewhere, I haven't actually tried that, because I don't shave anything apart from my head. Too much information for you, perhaps. But then I know this would work fine. I know for sure, and I've seen videos of people using it, especially this one. So that's great. Men and women, body shaving, great. Head shave, perfect. These are just as good as a cartridge on your head. They're not better, in my opinion, but I like carts on the head. For face shaving, I've shaved 3 times with this on the face, and the result is really good. I probably prefer this one on the face. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. But this has this big head, so when you're under the nose, it's hard to get the last few straws. You can get them when you go sideways, but you still have to put in a bit of work. So a DE is a little bit easier. So this can be your only razor, and you can use it on the face, but there's no big reason why you necessarily should, except if your motivation is replacing cartridges, then by all means. So, is there a winner? I'm not going to necessarily pick a winner. As I said, I've used this 300-400 times. I've used this one 12 times maybe on the head and on the face. I did go wrong with this one once yesterday, so this is still a favorite. This is brilliant, and it feels like it's gonna last a lifetime. I think I'm gonna like this one just as much, actually. So I would recommend both or none, depending on what you want. Leaf razor, Shavent razor, North America, Europe, pretty much the same thing, and pretty much very good. And these can be game changers if people open up to the opportunity of using non-cartridge razors. Why not give it a try? I bought this second hand for half price because someone didn't like it. You know, there will be more of these used as well, and I buy a lot of used stuff. Why not? Just get them clean, and they're more or less as good as new. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening to me ramble 20 minutes about these two, but it's interesting, and I want to give my opinion, and you do with that as you please. thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Stay sharp.